amazing, man. I couldn't agree more. Like you said, like start making plan, and you always like talk about goal setting. If we also like listen to your other speeches, like you always mention like set your goals. And I really want to ask here is that, and it's also like personal to me as well. If you suggest someone like to do a goal setting, what would you suggest? Like, should we set realistic goals in a realistic time, or should we aim for like very difficult kind of unrealistic goals, like, and so that like you can prepare, you can push yourself that much hard because you already set an unrealistic goal. What you suggest and what you did like when you were planning to become a world champion?
I always had two types of goals. So one goal is like I kind of set like what I call a dream goal, because it may not have been like within a year of setting it, like what sort of long-term goal would be.
Mhm.
Um, and even though I set a goal of saying one day I want to be world champion at that age, at 16, a lot of people you're out of your mind. Like there's no way that you're going to be able to do that. But the thing is, I believed it, right? And that was enough for me to shovel snow off car, go to pool, cold pool in the morning, and do all those things that we talked about, giving some things up for the better of myself.
Yeah.
So I think everybody out there will have their own level of tolerance towards what they're going to achieve. I would just say that it's like that situation where you go to the ocean, you take your shoe off, you take your sock off, and you dip your little toe into the water. And at that moment, you think about what's possible. You think about what's possible in terms of in the metaphor of life, which means just try, just get in, just give it a go, and you start learning. As individuals, to be learners. What can I do next time? How can I be better? Or if you're reading a book or learning a language, it's hard. It's really hard to get started. That first third of your training program, when you're not seeing results and you're going through it and you're just like, this is hard. Right now I'm studying for my GMAT, and I want to take my MBA, and it's a difficult process for anybody who's ever taken GMAT, LSAT, GRE, all these admissions tests to study for it, because there's so many things that you can learn and know, right, from a quant, a verbal, a formula, whatever. So it's a very daunting process. So I've tried to step back and just take everything one at a time. You do your test. Where can I improve? Check it again. Okay, I'm a little bit weak in this. Let me try this. How do I learn more about this? And that's what it's all about. Eventually the pieces to the puzzle hopefully come together. And if they don't, and you so-called fail, happens, then readjust and reevaluate the effort and reevaluate. So the effort's there. So it was nothing to do with effort. All right, fine. Was it about mental approach? Was it about a strategy that I used that didn't quite work out, right? So if I'm swimming a 200 individual medley, did I go too fast in my 50 butterfly? So it's 50 butterfly, 50 backstroke, 50 breaststroke, 50 freestyle, fly back breaststroke. So the fly is fly, people know fly, and then the backstroke's the backstroke, and then the breaststrokes is this one, and then the freestyle is normal freestyle.
Yeah.
So you could say during the race, well, my 50 fly was too fast, and then because it was too fast, it negatively impacted the rest of the race. Maybe it's too slow, and then because it was too slow, I didn't have enough momentum to get me through the rest of the race and failed. Or maybe it was just right. And then how did the individual strokes hum after that? My point there is that this whole process of goal setting, this whole process of moving forward is one big game. It's one big thing about learning, taking information in real time and trying to adjust, right? And say, how about this? How does this feel? So, but that's fun. I think that's fun. I think it's fun to get to know yourself, get to know your how far your body can push you. And I would say that if you said to anybody, do you know what it's truly like to feel pressure? A lot of people would probably say, yes, I know how to feel it. But what about something that you really wanted? Not talking about pressure that may be put upon you, like, hey, you have to do this assignment for work. That's a certain kind of pressure. But what about the pressure of knowing that you want something so bad that you can taste it, and yet you're going to do everything you can to get it, and you're at that moment, that pièce de résistance moment, where like, I'm doing it now. right? And your palms are sweaty and you're nervous and you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe this, right? Maybe you're taking like a master's degree and you have to defend your thesis that you worked on for 4 months, and you get nervous because you're like, can I defend this? And you do it and you feel great about yourself. And that's the feeling. It's the feeling of going through the journey. So sometimes it's not about the destination, it's the journey that you have along the way. And if you can get there, then you're doing a lot better.